Welcome to our weekly show on the coronavirus on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's me, Tony B. Sorry for my tardiness. I was actually covering the demonstration and protest organized by the students at Franklin High School, right at Franklin on the corner of MLK and Rainier. Rainier, of course, the namesake for this radio station. A peaceful protest. The students asked everyone to dress in all black. The students dressed in all black. And if you haven't had a chance, if you weren't watching me do that, go back and check it out. And the students put together something that was pretty powerful. Again, this was a student-led demonstration and protest in support of Black Lives Matter. And of course, we all know, and if you don't know, George Floyd was murdered at the hands of the police in Minneapolis, and that began a nationwide and actually worldwide series of protests that have continued to take place. And at Franklin, it was nice to see youth get engaged and involved and share their feelings and use their voice. At 3:30 to 5 o'clock, we're going to be at Leschi, which is a grade school, K through 5, and they're going to be having a rally as well. And then on Sunday, starting at 2, there will be a march and rally in South Seattle that'll start at Othello and Rainier. They'll go down Othello, and heading east on Othello, they get to Rainier and head south. At that point, they'll march all the way to Safeway, where there'll be a rally, and I believe this is who I'm ultimately looking for here.
You have a prepaid call. Will not be charged for this call. This call is from an inmate at Monroe Correctional Complex. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this, thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Merrill, do we have you on the line?
Yeah.
Welcome to Rainier Avenue Radio. This again is our weekly broadcast of the impacts of the coronavirus on South Seattle and surrounding communities. I have on the air with me from Monroe Correctional Facility, Mr. Vincent Sherrill. Vincent, how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
And let me see here.
All things considering.
Yeah, thank you. Everything in consideration. And you were also a member, or maybe even the president of the Black Prisoners Caucus at Monroe.
Yeah, I'm not the president. I'm the member. Here at the mother chapter. This is the mother chapter in Monroe. This is where it was formed at in 1972. But since then, we decided to go in a whole nother organizational structure as far as the horizontals, leadership, right? We don't subscribe to the Eurocentric, way of structuring an organization. We just want to break away from that. So we operate like in committees. So I'm just one of those. I'm a co-chair of the Freedom, Justice, and Equality Committee.
All right, co-chair of the Freedom, Justice, and Equality Committee. And we are going to be talking about COVID-19 in Monroe. Mr. Sherrill, I'm going to start off by asking you, just so that we get this up front, why you're there, how long you will be there, and if you'd like to, you can share the circumstances that led to your incarceration.
Yes. Well, I've been serving 27 years, a life without the possibility of parole sentence for murder, and so that's what I'm here for. There's a lot of circumstances in regards to how I got here, and I really don't want to go too much in detail at this time, but
Yep.
I will be I'm hoping later on when this litigation process goes through to open up to the community out there as far as those conditions that actually led me to do some of the actions that ultimately landed me in prison with a life sentence. I don't have no problem in coming back and and talking about that.
All right.
But I'm here for 27 years, and I've been here in Monroe. I originally arrived in Monroe in 2007, then I left in 2010, and I came back in 2016. So I've been a part of the leadership, of BPC in that time span.
Well, we know out here that COVID-19 kind of flattened. I think that's going to change with the amount of protests that are taking place. But tell us, Uh, and I'll ask you more specific questions, but let's start with the basic overall. How has the coronavirus directly from you impacted the situation, the circumstances, the inmates, the staff at Monroe Correctional Facility?
Okay, well, it kind of devastated, you know what I'm saying, the regular program and operations of how we went about our daily lives, right? And it began probably like in March 12th, I believe, if I have my dates right, or March 14th, where they had got some information as far as, I guess, an officer came up sick, like in March 8th, right? And they tested him, you know what I'm saying, and he wound up testing positive for COVID-19, you know what I'm saying? So that was March 8th, and then so they decided March 14th to kind of like shut everything down, the regular operations of prisons, how it's ran, because you know we run on a plethora of volunteer programs from out the community who comes inside and kind of for educational purposes, spiritual purposes, you know, and a lot of other purposes come inside to connect with us inside, just to kind of make our daily lives, you know, conducive to rehabilitation and possibly returning back to society, you know, whole, right? And so that didn't happen no more. And so they locked us down. We went on to kind of like a quarantine, not really aware of what was going on. So we was locked in our cells, you know what I'm saying, without, you know what I'm saying, access to the regular showers, phones, and things for a couple of days or two before they created some type of plan on how to move us, you know, in and out our cells. And so as the information started coming in,
Go ahead.
Okay, so as the information started coming in, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of us being, you know, watching news and everything, just, okay, damn, this is hitting society. You know, so now, you know, now what's going on? And here it is. They talk about social distance and everything, and then some of us realize, oh, well, man, this is impossible for us to actually, you know, saying, to comply with any social distance, you know, saying orders, right? Because we're stacked up on top of each other. Some of us have the benefit of being in a single cell, whereas others don't. They're housed with each other, right? And so that was a problem. And then at the time, we wasn't receiving any PPE. You know, saying any type of mask was coming in. You know, and they were, you know, say it was only designated to staff, and few prisoners had access to it due to their relationship probably with their supervisor or something. Because we had janitors still moving about in the units because they still had to clean, you know, saying sweep mop, you know, saying to take care of things. And so that was our day. So that's what life looked like for us aside. Minus no visitation from family members, you know, none of that interaction from society as far as with these programs, right? That was all, you know, saying stopped.
Have you been informed about the percentage of inmates who have tested positive? I'll start with that.
Well, it fluctuated, right? I guess we were in the beginning. We were the only prison in the state who actually had the first test, a positive test as far as officers, and then it started coming in as far as with prisoners, right? There was a prisoner that tested, and you know what I'm saying. And so that info, as it was coming in, the information was questionable. We know for sure, you know what I'm saying, because nothing on the news was too much being reported. Then I believe we started having more positive tests here at Monroe. So I guess you could say this is kind of like ground zero as far as, you know what I'm saying, in the state as far as prisons, you know what I'm saying, that were actually impacted, you know what I'm saying, by COVID-19. But as far as the exact numbers, bro, I don't have that, but we have been working alongside CLS, Columbia Legal Service, and I believe they have more stats and numbers on that. And you know, I just don't have them in my hand right now. I'm sure I got a text from those brothers and sisters at Columbia Legal Service, but right now I just don't have it in front of me as far as some numbers in that beginning. I don't know. Yeah.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. This is our special show on the coronavirus, the impacts of the coronavirus in Seattle and South surrounding areas. My guest with me live from Monroe Correctional Facility is Tank Sherrill, who is a member of the Black Prisoners Caucus. How available is the testing at Monroe? If someone feels like they have symptoms and they ask for a test, can you get a test?
No, There's no test being done. Only if you come up with those. If you come up probably showing up your symptoms are just so obvious, right? Then they're pulling you up out of here and they're taking them somewhere we didn't even know where cats were disappearing to, right? For a while. Then they were actually going to Twin Rivers. Some was going to the security management unit. That's the IMU, aka the whole, right? But as far as testing for everybody else, no. If you're not displaying any strong symptoms of that, then you wasn't being tested. And there was one case where, matter of fact, one of the cases that actually that showed up, it was a guy that was presently in our unit, right? And he went to camp, and so at camp he was the one that tested positive. And then they tested 6 people that he was associated with around him, and I believe some of them, I don't know the percentages who all tested positive, and within a people that they tested. But he actually came up on our unit, and we were shocked that day. He just left out a cell. He just had a cellie. Why didn't they come over here and test this cellie? After he tested positive. Because that right there would have been an indicator, for us inside living with this guy. To see, if any of us, possibly, contracted it, right?
What is the general mood of those who are incarcerated at Monroe right now? If you had to describe the general feeling that folks have, what would that be?
It's really hard to tell. It's really, because as in prison, when we come into an environment like this here, we are automatically just trying to survive, right? And in that survival, in that, in those survival instincts kicked in. So you may see behavior that disappeared on the surface that's normal. But to take a deeper look at that, if you would sit down with a person and have a person just really, share with you how they feeling, you probably get a whole other story. So it's really hard to get a read, right? As far as, like that. But however, a lot of guys I talk to, man, it's challenging, there's some deprivation, going on. There's a whole lot of, I believe, this is compounded, on the trauma that we all a lot of us come up inside prison with, right? Just the lack of, just to have the contact from your family, just automatically go where that was, a person, that was a person's lifeline, his family, his, those familiar bonds that he had, with his children in the visiting room, all that is taken away. I can see the, it's real. It shows up. You can see the pain and the hurt, and then it didn't take long for folks to started acting out, biting and things like that, right? And you knew that was a direct result of, those not having a disruption of our normal, routine in our lives up here as far as contact with family and things like that, and community members, right? So yeah.
And I kind of asked you this before when I asked you if they were letting you know what the infection rate was, but do you know if it's if it's spreading, and if there has been anything done? Well, let's start with that. How has the spread of COVID-19 impacted Monroe Correctional Facility? Is it spreading? Has it been contained? Has it flattened? Is it decreasing? What's taking place now from the best of your knowledge?
Wow, I think that right there is the question that we will all like answered. I think if we can have somebody answer that question, we'll be on our way to actually probably containing and controlling this thing more.
So you don't even know right now.
Exactly. None of us know because nobody's being tested, right? So and as far as there's no movement, so they stopped the transferring of people going to other prisons, right? Because we had people sitting up in here probably ready to go home within 6 months, and they would have been transitioning to a camp or a work release. But right now, some of them are stuck here, right? Or transferred to another prison because they got still 2 years left on their sentence, and they will probably go to another prison where they can where they have more connected to more resources, right? So preparing them to to be released. They're stuck right here. There's no transferring going on, right? So it's contained as far as here, there's not going to be any spread as far as folks, if I can say this was ground zero, of folks coming, going from Monroe, going to another prison, possibly, spreading it, right? So it stopped in that sense,
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. That,
Okay.
yeah, I just dropped, that was a mic drop.
Okay, and can you let us know what has been done to secure the safety and health of inmates and those who are including staff at Monroe Correctional Facility? What are the steps that have been taken to provide safety and provide health measures?
Well, just like I said, it's virtually impossible to really have people social distance, right? Enforce social
Have you been given hand sanitizer? Did they give you masks? Did they provide you with anything to at least?
Yeah. I was for sure, bro. I was gonna get to that, but it's not to the level of that. You guys are probably experiencing out there. Like right now, I'm wearing a mask that was made in Twin Rivers, right? And so it's up to me to actually is cloth. It's up to me to actually wash into the 10-foot to this mask, that I have. And that's my PPE, right? Whereas you guys in society, from what I'm hearing, it's a lot of money actually being invested in as far as making masks and providing masks. But yet it hasn't came. We haven't seen that. We on these makeshift masks that were made in Twin Rivers by prisoners, right? And it's up to us to rewash these masks and wear them over and over. So that's the level of PPE, right? And as far as the janitors, they got to live here too, so they go out their way to kind of like spray things down, make sure things are sanitary. But just like I'm on this phone. I'm on this phone before I picked up the phone with you. There's no telling who was on this phone before me. So either I'm just going to just pick up this phone directly, or me, I'm going to go grab the spray bottle in the rag, and I'm gonna wipe down the phone, which I do all the time. Everything I touch, I'm practicing social distance. Conversation kills has been one of my mottos inside here, right? Conversation kills right now, bro. Unless you're 6 feet. Because I don't want to. I don't want to not make myself accessible to my brothers up in here, but at the same time, there's that it's not. It doesn't look the same. It's not the same no more. You can't be embraced no more. And I can see that's hard on some folks. Somebody that don't come from strong familiar bonds. Like I've had the benefit of coming from strong familiar bonds, and here it is. They make their familiar bonds inside prison. Whereas pre-COVID-19, the social, the social distancing was more, more intimate with the brothers as far as, hey, bro, hug, shake, pat on the back, and woo, and conversation was different. But now, with the distance, I can see how some people actually suffer from that.
My guest again is Vincent Sherrill, coming to us live from Monroe Correctional Facility. Vincent is also a member of the Black Prisoners Caucus. We're talking about how COVID-19 is impacting the Monroe Correctional Facility. And Mr. Sherrill, I want to give you an opportunity to answer this question, because you will have folks who are saying, well, you know what? You did something, you're incarcerated. That's what you get. What would you say to folks who make that comment about the lives you're now leading that's been affected by COVID-19 at Monroe Correctional Facility?
Well, first and foremost, I believe that we're all redeemable, right? Given the opportunity, given the space, given the resources, given the the association, that you would have from folks that understand that, I believe that, really, we, I believe in healing. I believe in, a person can actually heal from the trauma that a person had, childhood trauma, that adverse childhood, trauma experiences that, a lot of us experience in this situation, that can be addressed. So I believe in rehabilitation. I believe in rehabilitation and rehabilitation. I believe in the redemptive process. I believe in all those things, right? I believe in accountability and responsibility too. And that's something we did immediately. Just real quick, a lot of black boys. We come from single parent homes, raised by strong women, and so when this situation, in my case, my mom took out her life, set aside her life to come back to Washington to attend my trial. And at the first visit that she had, from behind the window, she looked at me and she said, "Son, did you do this?" Right? And I couldn't speak in the phone as far as give her a clear answer, but my head gave her the signal that she needed to hear, and to see, in order to see that her son was taking accountability for his actions. However, our criminal justice system doesn't see things that way. It starts off in a lie. Even if you may be guilty, you have to. Your lawyer still wants you to say that. No, I'm not guilty, right? And what does that do? That's a lie, and it starts on a lie. And so there's no opportunity for a person to actually heal or to be accountable or to show redemptive qualities in that process, right? And to show the family members, who if you cause harm, that you sincerely, you understand what you did, and you're trying to make these amends, right? That the criminal justice system don't provide all that. It's just lock them away. That's it.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Throw them away. And
All right, I just heard something that said you have 60 seconds remaining. So I don't know if that's going to hang up, but if you can quickly, what changes would you like to see in Monroe that would be to the benefit of those who are incarcerated there?
Testing, first and foremost. You have to test folks and see what their status is, positive and negative. And
You have 30 seconds remaining.
I think one move set up the next move. Was up to state. We have to do that first move in order to get to the second move. And right now we don't even get this first move to make a second move. Right, so testing.
Again, we have about probably 10 seconds left before this phone is going to hang up. Is there anything that you want to say for final words before we lose the signal here?
I just like to send my love and respect to those protesters that's out there protesting.
And that was it. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's me, Tony B. I was just talking with Vincent Sherrill from Monroe Correctional Facility. We were talking about COVID-19 and the impact that it was having there. I just recently got into the studio from the demonstration that was taking place at Franklin High School. This is our special impacts of the coronavirus on South Seattle and surrounding communities. Yes, Monroe Correctional Facility is one of our surrounding communities. I will be back to talk with our King County Council member, Mr. Gmai Zahilai, right after this.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not helping bad girls set up their websites, I'm listening to RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Wanawari and Langston proudly present 206 The Break, a Seattle hip-hop live stream series. Each DJ set will be presented in a live stream program hosted by two local hip-hop luminaries who will bring their unique insight and the local culture and music scene of the era represented in the episode. For more information, go to wanawari.org, langstonseattle.org, or on our Facebook pages. Made possible with funding support from For Culture and the City of Seattle Office of Arts and Culture.
This is the news on Rainier Avenue Radio. Businesses willfully ignoring closure orders under Governor Inslee's Safe Start reopening plan may be subject to citations and fines for unsafe workplace conditions. The Department of Labor and Industry said the emergency rules were enacted at the governor's direction and grant labor officials the authority to cite businesses for improperly operating or failing to ensure proper health and safety requirements are followed per the state's requirements. Employers found purposely defying the governor's orders, according to Patch.com, will be directed to close or adjust their operations up to standards immediately. Those who refuse to do so will receive a workplace safety citation and could face fines above $10,000. LNI said investigators will perform some in-person, quote-unquote, spot checks on some businesses to ensure they follow through and comply with the state's requirements.
And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Class of 2020 graduates, we are No, wait a minute. Let's see. To the esteemed graduates of the class of 2020. Run that back again. When you finish high school, college, grad school, or even grade school, I mean, you're still graduating. It just doesn't feel right. 2020 graduates, we got you. Rainier Avenue Radio celebrates your hard work while maintaining safe and social distance. Rainier Avenue Radio celebrates your commencement. Without the crowds, but with a lot of pomp and circumstance. Presenting your class of 2020 graduates. Congratulations to Brianna Gamble. Brianna is a graduate of Kennedy Catholic High School, class of 2020. Brianna's GPA, 3.45. Wow. And Brianna was part of the 2019-2020 cheer squad for Kennedy High School. You know, that shows your school spirit, too. Brianna has been a cellist for 4 years. Awesome accomplishment. After graduating, Brianna has decided she will go to Eastern University in Washington and major in communications. Be there and make a difference. Congratulations to Brianna Gamble, class of 2020, graduate of Kennedy School, Brianna Gamble.
Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hey, what's up? This is Sergio LaCour from Sergio Love Lines on RainierAvenueRadio.world. Check us out every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Central, as we dedicate songs to you and your loved ones. We talk about relationships. We put it in the mix, and we're doing it just for YOU. It's Sergio Love Lines on RainierAvenueRadio.world every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Central. Be there.